Hey guys, and welcome back to Brex Play. In this video, I know it's been a while since we recorded something, but with the news of Paper Mario, the Origami King, coming out on Switch, or releases on July 17th, GameXplain made this video where they have 42 screenshots that they took from their reveal trailer, and being a big Paper Mario fan myself, I just kind of want to go through each screenshot, give my thoughts on it, speculate on how the game might turn out, what I like and what I don't like. Okay. Immediately off the bat, I'm loving the fence because it looks like rolled up cardboard, and I hope that points to them really taking the paper aspect of Paper Mario and applying it to the art style more than the first three games did. Because if you think back to especially Super Paper Mario, it was called Super Paper Mario, but the art style wasn't really anything related to paper. It just kind of seemed like a regular side-scrolling Mario game. So I definitely like that. They really upped the way the game looks in this one. Okay, in this next screenshot, kind of not much to see here. I guess they're just gonna utilize Luigi in that small role character, like comic relief character role, similar to how he was in Thousand Year Tour. This Prepare to Be Folded. I feel like this kind of confirms based on the trailer and the screenshot that the enemies are origami, and Peach, who you can see in the back, was also turned origami, and the point of the game is to just defeat all the origami enemies and turn Peach back to regular paper, similar to how Mario looks. Well, yeah, I guess the Paper Mario humor is back with that. It's a pretty funny line. Not much else. Again, I'm just going to point back to the art style. In the first two games, in a scene like this, the grass in the front would just kind of be all flat and green, while here it looks like pieces of paper textured and laid on top of each other. So visually, it's very good. Okay, I'm definitely getting Glitzville vibes from this, with the brightness and the colors and just how just kind of cool it looks. I'm excited to play in this one level when the game comes out. That looks pretty good. And if you look at the palm trees, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna keep. I just love how finally it took the sixth game for them to really use the paper aspect well. Sticker Star had some, Color Splash had some, but here it really looks like everything is made out of arts and crafts, which I appreciate. Like here we see some rolled up paper and then the paper leaves. Okay, Mario's looking at this yellow character. I assume that's your Navi, like how Link had Navi in Ocarina of Time, or like how Mario had Pixel in Super Paper Mario. I assume this is your guide character who kind of points out things in the background, explains new abilities to you, which isn't too bad. Yeah, this just looks like an overworld screen. Okay, immediately my eyes go to the Magic Koopa because it doesn't look like an enemy that's trying to like sneak up on Mario because it has this like paper tube on its back. So that makes me think that this is your partner, which I like because it brings back the partner aspect from the first two games. So that's something to keep an eye on. But it just kind of looks like a generic Magic Koopa. Like Mario's partners in previous Paper Mario games were unique, and while some of them like Bobbery and Parakarry were based on enemies, they had their own look to them where it was very distinguishable between this is your partner and this is the enemy that your partner is based on. This just kind of looks like a Magic Koopa, so I mean it's kind of bland, I guess. Okay, wow. So we have these paper mache shy guys dancing, okay, so this scene and this scene, they're gonna have fun with this game. Like Paper Mario is a series that already doesn't take itself too seriously because it has scenes like this where, you're just gonna dance with some enemies or some toads. So that's coming back. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun game. They're gonna have some quirky elements to it that you wouldn't see in like a paper or in a Super Mario Galaxy or in any other Nintendo's IPs. Wow, okay. So if we look at the trees and the grass and the leaves that are falling, even though everything's green and there's like a little bit of brown, you can tell the depth of everything. Like it doesn't look flat, even though it's all basically one color. Again, great job to the art designers on that. And the details on the chain chomp, if you look inside, you can see the frame of the chain chomp because it's paper mache. That's pretty good. And again, the Magic Goop is behind you, probably a partner. Wow. That looks like the thing from Super Mario Sunshine. Like that one boss where you pull its tentacles. What I want to see, and what I don't assume is happening in this scene, I assume this is just introducing the boss and then it goes to like the regular battle mechanic. What would be cool is if you had a boss battle from this view, where you're standing as the player behind Mario, who's looking at the boss, and you fight that way, opposed to like how in the first two games they were on stage, Mario's on the left, the enemy's on the right, and then you battle vertically. It would be cool to have this like behind the shoulder battle every once in a while. You got a Ninja Toad Dojo? That's what I was saying about what I said about the when they were dancing with the toads. Paper Mario definitely likes to have fun, and this looks like it's gonna be like a similar game to that. Like there's gonna be a lot of moments in the game where you just laugh to yourself based on what you're looking at or the quotes that the characters say. Just a pretty scene here. The paper leaves. This reminds me of like how in school you trace your hand on construction paper, cut them out, and then put them in a way that makes it look like leaves. So it looks pretty good. Bowser Jr.'s in this game. Okay. So I'm getting some like kind of Egyptian vibes to it based on the toad mosaics behind you. I always like how Paper Mario games portrayed toads, I guess. They're like super funny, really comic reliefy. But I always feel like I enjoy levels that have toads in them. Like how in Keel Key and Paper Mario Thousand Year Door had that whole toad story going on with Frankie and Francesca. I always feel like anytime a toad's in a Paper Mario level, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Okay, there's a glowing hand. Okay, this is the first time we see the new mechanic. We saw this in the trailer. Oh, okay. So if you stand on the hand, you get your power, which is like how in Thousand Year Door, when you want to turn to an airplane or you want to turn to a boat, there were like specific places you had to stand to activate that power. It's a similar thing to this with your folded paper hands, I guess. Pull. Okay. Yeah, this again, I keep referring back to Thousand Year Door because that's my favorite in the series, and obviously I'm gonna compare any Paper Mario game to that. This reminds me of the scene in Thousand Year Door at the end where Peach is possessed by the Shadow Queen, and she turns like kind of evil, and you have to kind of defeat the enemy and rescue her from being that enemy. And it's kind of like the same thing here. She's Origami, and she's obviously possessed by some Origami enemy, maybe the Origami King, since that's in the title. So you kind of have to save her, turn her back to normal, and right now she's possessed. This looks like right before you battle her. Oh God. Um, the door. I kind of just straight. My eyes go straight to the door because, like I said before, they definitely make everything based in paper, and if you look at the door, it looks like cardboard. And I love the design on the side because it does look like when you like rip cardboard in half, and in the middle you see that little wavy piece of paper, like holding the two pieces together. Okay, so I saw this during the trailer, and obviously this is one of the main enemies in the game, but I'm just gonna speculate a little bit and just assume that this isn't the main boss of the game, like how Sir Grotus was in Thousand Year Door. This looks like more that this character in general is going to fill the Lord Crump role, where it's a boss and it's an enemy, but it's a smaller enemy compared to the final boss of the game. Yeah, and I saw this again in the trailer. He wraps Peach's castle in this ribbon, and it turns into origami. And then I guess at the end of the game, you save the world from origami, from being an origami. Yeah, similar to how the chain chomp we saw before, we have some more paper mache enemies, which I like. There's some variety to it. Not all enemies are going to be origami, so there's some variety to it. And again, it's another look at that Navi-esque character from this game, where it's origami, but it's not an enemy, and that's your connection between being paper and being origami. It's this character, I guess. I can't tell if that's supposed to be sand or like you're in a wheat field. But if you see at the top right, it leads into a bridge that goes onto the next screen. So I'm just gonna assume based on this that it's not an open world Paper Mario game. Obviously, I feel like that wouldn't really work. But each screen has a lot more to explore compared to the first two games where you could walk around in a screen and you could go into shops, go into doors, talk to people. But if you go all the way to the right, the screen will go black, and then the next little section of the world would load. It's gonna be something similar to this, or this is something similar to that aspect of Thousand Year Door in Paper Mario 1. But each individual screen, there's gonna be a lot more to. Oh, whoops. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, got a little log ride. I'm riding down Splash Mountain. This looks just like a mini game to collect coins. I'm gonna assume. And you can press the R to throw confetti if that's what you want to do. Okay, if you look at the bottom left, and yeah, let's go to the bottom left first. And you see we have 5,851 coins. Looking back to the Thousand Year Door, there were coins in that game, but the most you'd have is like 300 because items were like 20 coins to 50 coins, like the ones you mainly used. So unless I mean, I guess the economy collapsed and everything's super inflated if you need that many coins. And then you look at the top left, kind of, yeah, it's a mini game because you have health for this. In hearts, represented by hearts, or in the main overworld, you had health represented by a number out of like 120 or 150 or whatever it was. Yeah, kind of just, Bowser Jr.'s an enemy. And I like how he's like a little dirtied up after you beat him. Okay, so you're in a little car and you're driving around the desert. Hopefully, again, this means that it's gonna be a much larger map, which leads to a much larger game. If they made this game like a 40-hour, 50-hour game, I'd be pretty cool with that because Thousand Year Door was so much fun and it was 25 to 30 hours. So if they made this game even longer by virtue of a larger map, more things to explore, that'd be pretty nice. We've waited a while since Color Splash for a game, so hopefully they spent that time really like fleshing out the game and making it a grand adventure. So this is where you're just walking through that level we saw before. And I think I said it reminds me kind of like a hybrid between Glitzville and Poshley Heights in the sense that you see Glitzville in the bright lights and like kind of like the neon signs, and Poshley Heights where it's very like regal and like well-to-do. Okay, so we have some Wind Waker aspects going on here. That's what I said before, like how in the desert, if you need a car to explore the desert, it's probably a pretty big desert. So same thing here with this ocean. Again, kind of pointing to it's a larger map, hopefully larger game. Oh god, what? Ninja origami enemies, I guess? That reminds me of the fuzzies from the previous games. Okay, this is our first look at the battle mechanic in these screenshots. And like how we saw in the trailer, you're going to rotate each circular ring in the grid and kind of align the enemies so you can hit them consecutively. Based on just what we saw in this in the reveal trailer and in this screenshot, they look like they're done with the card fighting mechanic and they're going back to the just jump on the enemy or just use the hammer, or if you have an item you can use the hammer or use that item. That's good because obviously like I feel like no one really enjoyed the card fighting mechanic from Color Splash and Sticker Star, and every time a Paper Mario game came out after Thousand Year Door, they just hoped that it would go back to how Paper Mario 64 and Thousand Year Door had that fighting mechanic. That looks like it's it. Yeah, and these two screenshots you just see that the enemy, that the player twisted that second ring, aligned the Goombas, and then okay. So at the top right you see it says ring moves. I guess each turn or maybe each battle you can only move the enemies so much to align them, and then once you run out of ring moves, you just kind of have to fight them individually. I think that's it. Okay, so thank you to Game Explain for letting me use this video, and can't wait for this game to come out. Big Paper Mario fan, super excited, and yeah. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to Prex Play, turn on notifications so when we release a new video, you'll get a message. Alright, thanks guys.